Welcome.
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 Welcome back to the Unhinged BookCast podcast hosted by Jess and LJ, who love all things fantasy books. I'm LJ.
And I'm Jess, and we're happy to have you back again.
Whether we're deep diving into thoughts and theories or just riding the vibes, we love discussing our current reads with each other and now with all of you.
Tonight is another special bonus episode. We both have been listening to the audiobooks for the Flesh and Fire series by Jennifer Armentrout.
Tonight we will be discussing book 4 from Born of Blood and Ash.
Please note that there will be spoilers for all books in the Blood and Ash series, and there will definitely be spoilers for the entire Flesh and Fire series tonight.
These are romantic fantasy books that are intended for adults. We will be talking about war, gore, and a lot of no pants dances.
So, this is your content warning. Our discussions are not suitable for little listening ears. We hope you are all reading along with us, and we can't wait to hear your thoughts and theories as well.
So let's discuss so we can start a primal of blood and
Yes,
bone.
I know. I'm so excited.
Me too. The first note I had is in chapter 2 when she's taken to the abyss, and
Uh-huh.
it's the three riders from the gates, the pillars or whatever,
Yep.
and outside of the veil. And I can't remember what the names were, but it stands for war, pestilence, hunger, and hunger.
Yeah.
Right?
Mhm.
Okay.
Yep. Yep. I had this note too, but
Yeah.
you already had it, so.
Yep. And they come together to take her to the abyss. And she needs to prove herself by
Mm-hmm.
basically slaying the monster inside of her. And now she can summon the riders, which still don't come back. So I'm assuming we're probably going to see them in the next book.
Probably.
Yeah.
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 Okay, so then my next note was in chapter 4. Because this drove me crazy this entire book. It was
Yeah.
driving me crazy the last book, and then we started off with it already in chapter 4, where she goes, quote, Sarah goes, I don't know why I'm so damn emotional all of a sudden. I'm like,
I
girl, it's
know.
because you're effing pregnant. Like,
Yes.
all damn book. Drive me nuts. Okay, sorry.
Yes. No, you're good. I was the same. I just didn't write it down. I didn't waste my breath writing it down. But yes, until the moment she actually finds out she's pregnant, me and Jess are both annoyed as shit.
Yeah. I think I had
Uh,
like 5 or 6 notes about it. I only wrote down, I think, 2 of them for tonight, but over and over, I'm like, oh my gosh, come on now.
and then I had chapter 5 where she
Hmm.
figures out that the Ere are the ancients, but like something's making her think that she can't say it. And
Yeah, they're,
Nectus knows as well.
uh-huh,
I don't think it's in this
uh-huh.
part, but Nectus knows as well, but she
Yeah.
can't tell Ash for some reason.
And like, so some of the array are around currently, like they're the fates and stuff that she can call on and whatnot. And then some of them are in stasis, like they're asleep. So not
Hmm.
not all of them are currently around.
Yep.
I'm still confused on like, are the array and the fates the same? Are they different?
I
Are
thought
some of them
so.
together in the same? Because like Ward slash Victor, which we'll talk about later, but he was mortal and then granted that later. So he was not an ancient originally.
Yeah, but he's not an
But he
Ere
is
either.
okay, but I thought that the
He's a
array,
victor.
right, I thought the Victors were the fates. They were all like one and the same.
I don't
So this where
know.
I'm like, are the array and the fates and the victors, are they different? Are they the same? Well, are they, I don't know.
I don't
It
either.
doesn't matter that much, I don't think, but
I
it was
don't think
irritating
so.
me.
But yeah.
That little
Maybe
detail was irritating.
hopefully
But
it's we can get it cleared up at some
yeah,
point.
yeah.
Or maybe somebody can clear it up for us. Be like, yeah, this was chapter 2
Yes, that would
of
be
the
helpful.
first book. And we'll be
You
like,
guys
oh,
weren't
okay,
paying
cool.
attention.
Got it.
Okay. And then I had in chapter 9, so this is the first time that we kind of get a glimpse, an idea of what Sarah's Notum form is going to be. She hasn't shifted yet or anything, but I
Yeah.
think like she gets stressed or something and like her claws come out. Someone talks about her claws coming out.
Yeah.
And then she remembers the vision she had when she was in stasis of the female cave cat and realizes it was her. So, anyways, this is where we kind of get the idea that she's going to eventually shift into a cave cat. But it just
Yeah.
got me thinking here in this chapter that I just found it interesting that later we know that Malik, I mean, because Sarah and Nyktos' twin boys, names Malik and Iris, and we know a lot
Mhm.
about them from the Blood and Ash series. Malik preferred the Notum form of a wolf, right? Like
I
Nyktos.
think so, yeah.
And then Iris preferred the Notum form of a cave cat, like Sarah. And I just was wondering if that was like born into them, or do they get to choose that? I don't know. Again, I don't think it's super important, but I just found that interesting.
Back on track. Chapter 13 is when she goes out and like basically brings life back and everything.
Yeah, that was
And
cool.
then yeah, she grows a bunch of poppies.
Yeah.
And she's like, hopefully they won't poison us or something like that.
It is interesting that she's bringing back life and all this stuff, and then that's the flower that chooses to pop up is a flower that could actually kill them.
Right. But see, this makes me think back to, I think this is a kingdom of flesh and fire or something like that. Fire and flesh or something. Flesh and fire. Yeah, a kingdom of flesh and fire. Wait a
Mhm.
minute. A Fire in the Flesh was the last book that we
The
just did
last
this on.
audiobook that we did.
Oh my
Uh-huh.
goodness. Okay. So a
Yeah.
kingdom of flesh and fire, which is what the Atlanteans call themselves.
It's
Okay.
right, it's one of the Blood
So
and Ash books,
back
not
in
Flesh and
this
Fire
book,
books.
remember Castiel's taking Poppy to the cavern or whatever, right? And they're
Yes.
going, and there is a giant field of poppies that are
Uh-huh. Being
secretly
guarded.
like they have people in there in camo and stuff like that, keeping them safe.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Why?
Why? Why? Is it so? Is it like a lure for Colas?
Yeah, it bugs me that
That's
like
what
they
like
talk about these flowers and how they can kill them, right? Or
yeah, they're
incapacitate
like
them at the very
poisonous.
least. Why don't we use them?
I don't know.
It's
I don't
irritating.
know, but I think we will. And I
They're
think we're
like
just supposed to
important, but
forget
they're
all these
not
things.
important. Yeah,
Yeah.
maybe we are supposed to forget about them. That's probably what it is.
But yeah, so I just wanted to bring that up
Yeah.
because it was just another, because I think I did this last time about just all this stuff that was coming from a kingdom of flesh and fire,
Mhm.
which is Blood and Ash, and this is Flesh and Fire series. But anyway, yeah. So
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
you go ahead with your next note.
Okay. Sorry, I believe this is the last time I put this in here, but
It's not for me.
it's so irritating. Well, okay, so the same places that you put it in later, I had it too, but you already had it, so I'm like, oh, it's fine. I'll let you should take that one. But this was my thought here. Okay, once again, chapter 14. She's totally pregnant. Once again, she is saying something, I don't know, her emotions, her nausea, something like that. I didn't
Something,
write
the
it down, but
nausea. She's like, oh, maybe I was
something.
just puking from the bad bacon. No, it wasn't.
Right.
This isn't.
No,
This
you
isn't the
have a note
bacon.
about
This is
that
something
later. This
else.
isn't the
Yeah.
bacon. Yeah. But something. I'm like, obviously, come on. She's pregnant. We all know this. But so in my note, I put, sorry to keep putting this in here, but it is driving me crazy. They have not figured this out yet. Like, they can feel
Mhm.
a whole person's like life and memories and their soul with just like a touch of a hand. They can like know everything about a person.
Uh-huh.
They can take someone's soul out of someone else's body and put it into a freaking rock. But we can't tell someone's
We can't
pregnant.
figure out
They
somebody's
can
pregnant.
smell
We're
everything.
talking
They
like
can sense
3 months
everything.
pregnant or something like that.
Exactly. I'm
I'm
like,
like,
come
girl,
on.
you would know. But then
They
again, I
can't
think about it
sense.
and I didn't know for almost three
Yeah, okay,
months.
but if they
So
had like their heightened smell, their heightened
yeah,
sense of
that's true.
sense and hearing and
They should
like they
know.
can freaking they know
Well,
who a
I think
person's
that's
soul from touching someone. Like
well,
sorry, it's driving me
no,
nuts.
well, there's multiple people that keep like saying stuff. Okay, but it's the and then I'll get into this when we get there.
Okay.
But I know we're gonna talk about like Keela and stuff like that later.
Yeah.
But when she walks in to talk to Keela, and it's all the Fates people that keep saying like weird things to her.
They
And then
do.
Keela says something like, it's so good to see you, so full of life.
Yeah.
And she's like, huh, that's an odd thing to say to
Odd
someone.
thing. Yeah.
But so, and I know Keela's supposedly a god or whatever, but I think she's some kind of like fate or something like that.
Uh-huh.
And that's why she knows all these things. And I also think she's Willa Collins. Anyway, let's keep moving.
We're gonna get there later, right?
We'll get there, I
Okay.
promise.
All right, you're up next.
So chapter 17. Oh, this is Aiden. Okay. So he's come because Colas has summoned her, but not Nikos, obviously. And so
Yeah.
Aiden's like one of the, I don't know what he is.
He's
And I
like a
also
guard, but he's a god. He's not a
no,
primal, he's a
he's a
god.
fate. No, he's a fate.
Is he a
Aiden's a
fate?
fate. Yes. Because it has
Oh,
to be
Aiden.
yes.
That's right.
Yes.
I'm thinking, yeah, no, Aiden's an
Okay.
asshole, but
So
he's a fate.
Aiden,
Yeah.
no, I
Yep.
love him. Okay, I
You
love
like him?
Aiden,
Oh, I think he's
but
a little asshole. Okay.
I like his character. But I wonder if he could be the dude that Castile sees that comes
Wait,
into the room at the end of A Soul of Blood and Ash
like the Revenant?
that we think is a revenant. What if he's a fake?
Hmm.
Anyway, we can get there later.
Okay.
But
All right.
so he says something like if a war is started, it will not end until there is a primal of blood and bone.
Yeah.
Hmm. And then the next chapter. So I think this is like the guy Ken or whatever at his brother. And
Whatever it is.
Kin, yeah, it's
Kin, yeah.
Kyn. And
Yeah, Kin.
yeah, and he's just being an asshole to Seraphina, I think, or something. They're getting ready to meet with Colas, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then so basically, like all of a sudden he disappears or whatever. And then she looks over at Aiden and she goes, "Did you do that?" And he goes, "I put him in a timeout and I
Yes.
died." I
That
laughed
part was great.
so hard. Um,
Yeah, because they're like at this meeting and they're not supposed to provoke each other. They're not supposed to fight. There's not supposed to be bloodshed. It's just a meeting.
yeah.
And
And
Kin
then
was
Ken's
really
just
going
being a
down the road of
douche.
like,
Yeah.
yeah, he really was. Yeah, I put him in a timeout.
Yep, I put him in timeout. And I was like, but where did he send him and how did he do that?
For real.
Hmm.
Can we do this to more people, please?
Right? Can we put everybody in a timeout?
Everyone needs timeout.
Oh, but then we have chapter 2, which I don't have
22.
22, sorry. And I don't have much on it. So you go ahead.
Okay. All right. So we find out that, I'll be honest, I don't remember how we find this out, but we find out. Oh, because Seraphina summons, she realizes that she is now capable of summoning a fate. She
Yep.
has questions. She tries to summon Holland, like she wants to summon Holland.
Yep.
Um, but this other fate or victor. Okay, so the fates and the victors are the same. I'm pretty sure.
Maybe
Maybe. I don't know. Anyways, this other victor slash fate shows up with Penelope, because
it
she's
is
very closely re
Victor.
It is,
Victor
yes.
Ward.
It
Yeah.
is. I'm getting there. Um,
Oh, okay. Sorry.
yeah, you're good. You're good. So because she was trying to summon Holland. She really just wanted to see him and she had questions and stuff. Um, so this other guy shows up with Penelope. Find out that his name is Ward. He is the original Victor. And we already know that Victor from Blood and Ash
Hmm.
was the original Victor. So
Hmm.
Ward is Victor. So we have
Yes.
Victor Ward. His name was that his name was Victor
Yes.
Ward? Okay, yes, so Victor Ward, and that is why they are called Victors, right?
Uh-huh.
Yes. Okay, but they call him Ward. Um,
She calls him Ward. Yeah.
yeah, she calls him Ward. Basically, Holland wasn't allowed to come because then it would be showing favoritism and that could cause, I don't know, repercussions in the fate
Hmm.
world. So, Ward comes. Okay, I'm gonna try and get this right. A lot of questions for from Seraphina to Ward and whatnot. But she's like questioning him on how he came to be. How did he come to be a victor and whatnot?
Hmm.
And you can correct me on some details I may have gotten wrong because I was not feeling good when I was listening to this and
No,
was
you're
not
good. I
maybe
think
paying
this is
attention to
part of
some
the
of it.
one
But
pieces I've listened to 3 times. So you're
okay,
fine.
all right. So Ward was originally a royal knight to the Queen of. Okay, again, I'm listening at like 3+ speed
Uh
here. Davina Isles, Bovina Isles. What is the Isles?
Bavina something like
Bovina
that,
Isles,
yes.
something like that. Okay, and this was a long, 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 long time ago.
But do
Very
you
long time ago.
remember the first person that she killed in like book 1 was the Duke or something like that
Yes,
from the Bovine Isles?
because
Yeah.
that person was supposed to marry somebody else. Anyways, I
I
don't know.
don't
Anyways,
remember.
yes, you're right. Yes, you're right. I mean, like the place is still a place, but
Yeah.
this was like a long time ago.
Yeah.
So,
This was way before.
yeah. So Ward was originally a royal knight to the Queen of these Isles. The queen was barren. She wasn't able to have children. Her husband, the king, had mistresses, and one of whom was the bookkeeper's daughter, who became pregnant. Um, And the queen of the Isles ordered Ward to go and kill this bookkeeper's daughter that was pregnant, this mistress of her king. But instead, Ward ended up protecting her and then teaching her to fight and defend herself. And she ends up having a son whose name was Rowan,
Mm-hmm.
right? Okay, so then
I
this
think
is
so.
where the details become a little foggy for me, where I'm like, where did I get wrong here? But anyway, so Rowan does become king at some point, I believe, of the Bovina Isles or Davina Isles. Um, I got a little foggy on the rest of the details, but somewhere along the line we learned that from this bloodline there is a queen known as the Silver Knight because she fought alongside her king and defended her people. She was fierce, she was able to fight, all that stuff. This Silver Knight was named Seraphina,
Mm-hmm.
and this was the first and last time that that name was used until the Seraphina that we know in this book. Like there's a lot of
And
power in her
she's
name.
related to her.
Oh yeah, it's totally in her bloodline.
Yeah.
That's so it's related to her
It's like a
mother.
grandma or something. Yeah,
Yeah, it's like a great 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 or something like that to her mom.
I think so.
And then that we also find out later that that's partly why her mom was so cold to her and so standoffish to her was because she kind of knew about she knew about the deal, she knew about like if she had a daughter that the I don't know if she really knew about the embers of life, but she knew that something would be passed down to her, that she would be fated to
She
serve and
knew
kill a
about the
primal,
deal.
basically. Yeah,
She finds that out when she talks with her mom later.
right. And so, but her mom does say how she named her Seraphina because she knew that she was going to have a fight on her hands. And she knew she needed to be fierce and all this stuff. And so she thought it was fitting. So,
Yep.
but yeah. Anyways, Ward is Victor. Victor Ward. Super cool. Yeah,
Glad you're figuring that out now, Jess.
all of that.
Yeah, because I'm pretty sure like while he's inking the curses on her in like book 2 or whatever, he goes, "My name's Ward, Victor Ward, but you can call me Ward or something like that."
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, and then we have 23, and there's just a lot of parts of the prophecy because that's what they're talking about with Penelope
Hmm.
and Ward at this point.
Yeah, so they're just talking about the prophecy and whatnot. That's why she summoned them because she had questions. Penelope says that the third part of the prophecy is she's seen that it's supposed to happen like centuries and centuries in the future. And she says how she saw the king and queen of that future time, which is obviously Poppy and Castile.
Uh-huh.
Um, and how they feel, quote, right. And they feel like, quote, hope, which I thought was
Mhm.
cute. It's very true. Then she also says she repeats the part in the prophecy about how the two daughters, which we're gonna read the prophecy later, so we'll get there. But
Yeah.
the two daughters part in the prophecy is for the future. It has nothing to do with the current time of Sarah and Nyktos. That part's in the future, and that they will be the ones to fulfill the prophecy. So I'm thinking it's got to be Millie and Poppy, the
I,
first daughter, second daughter.
yeah,
Yeah,
it makes
it's got to
sense
be that. Yeah. So
in theory.
in theory, we'll see.
Or I don't know. I don't know.
I don't know
I
either. I
still
know
don't know.
I thought I was like super like, okay, I know what this is about in chapter 23. And then we moved down to like chapter 28, which we're going to read here in a second. And I was like, okay, never mind. I don't know what I'm talking about.
Okay, and then I think they're talking about how Penelope was talking with like Keela about this or something like that.
Yeah,
And
maybe.
that's when I was like, this, like, because Keela is really good friends with Penelope. And I'm telling you, so Penelope is already friends with the Fates, right? Because she's
Yeah.
got a thing for shit. What's the other one?
Holland.
Holland, right? Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Keela is a freaking fate, not just a goddess of rebirth or whatever. She's a freaking fate. Okay. That's why she knows all the things. That's why she's so damn old that she remembers the ancients, supposedly. And
Yeah.
I'm telling you, she's Willa Collins. You can't tell me otherwise. But
I don't know. I was more on board with that until Keela went to sleep in this book.
Did she ever actually go to sleep?
Yeah, she goes into stasis and then her like and then
Doesn't
Sarah
mean she didn't
ascends
fucking
her
wake
like
up by the time
yeah,
Poppy and Castile are born.
I don't know.
Because why else would she be? I don't know. Why else would she be at the Red Pearl and say,
Oh
what
no,
is
I
the one
know.
freaking quote? The one freaking quote. She knows the damn prophecy. Willa Collins isn't just going to know the prophecy. And Willa Collins, quote
She says
unquote,
something about how she's like
how she
you're
was
like a
friends.
second daughter, but you're not.
Yes. But
Yeah.
hold on, but like even Willa Collins when she like meets her officially is like, yeah, I was friends with Penelope.
Yeah. Yeah. Does she though?
I'm telling you, yes, she does. When they're having like the meeting when they first become king and queen, and then
Yeah.
Daddy Valens, like, this is, have you guys met? This is Miss Willahima Collins.
Wilhelmina. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, I'm telling you, Keela is Willa. And I think she's like a fate or something, or an
Like,
ancient. I don't
I'm
know.
not gonna be surprised if you're right, but I don't know if I'm fully on board with it.
That's fine. You don't have to be. I'm on this train and I'm taking it to the bottom of the cliff, man.
That's okay.
I should probably read Visions of Flesh and Blood, which is a story by Miss
I'm
Willa
totally gonna read
Collins.
it. I am
I
going to
have
read
it.
that. Yeah.
I just haven't got to read it yet. But yes. So anyway. And then Theron is a soul eater.
Yep.
He is a what, like mortal oracle or something like that? What did they
I
call
don't
it?
I don't remember.
I
But
can't
I do
remember.
remember how like in Blood and Ash how they talked about how the Soul Eaters died out like a very long time ago because
Yeah.
they were afraid that that's what Poppy was.
Yeah, and he's like the last one.
He is the last one. Yeah, but I don't
Or an
remember exactly
empath.
what they said.
Empath. Empath?
Empath. Empath.
Empath. Sure.
Yeah. Yeah.
But yeah, so that's what this dude is. Where he came from, I don't remember, but he's here.
He's here.
He's here. And
And he's
then we
technically,
have,
is he a god though?
no, he's not a god, he's like a
He's not a
mortal.
god. Wait,
And later, I don't know if this is in this spot or not, but they're in the library together, remember?
yeah.
And he's like, Nikos's mom was half of, damn it, I can't think what it's called, but a soul eater, half of a soul eater, which is how
And
why
that's
they
why she
can
could
sense
read
emotions and
emotions.
stuff like that.
And that's why
Yeah.
Niktos can sense emotions, but he
Uh-huh.
doesn't have the power to turn the emotions back on people like
Yes.
a
And that's
actual
what,
soul
yeah,
eater
this
can.
guy can do. And that's why he's not sleeping when she's not sleeping
Right.
because it like calls to him or something like that.
Yeah.
So they go talk with Miss Willa Collins. I'm sorry. I mean, Gila,
You mean
the
Keela. I
goddess
don't
of
know if it's
rebirth.
Willigal.
Anyway, so she tells them that they can use the celestite, right?
Yeah.
Which what it was that again?
Okay, so she talks about how when they got, because they're talking about their plans about putting Colas in stasis.
Yeah.
Like they know that's the only way that they're basically going to be able to kind of defeat him at the moment. But she tells them that like even when they're in stasis, the ether protects them, and it makes it so that they can eventually wake up if it's a primal. But then she says that there is a naturally occurring mineral that acts as kind of like a block or a hindrance to the ether that's protecting a god or primal in stasis, and it's called celestite.
Hmm.
Only Colas and Keela know about it. And it's only found in the mortal realm in a place where the original ancients first slept and matured, where the ancients had first fallen as stars. And it
Hmm.
has like a burnt red sheen to it, like at Castle Red Rock in Oak Ambler.
Yeah. And so this is like, okay, this made me think about it. And okay, so do you remember when Castile is being captured, right? And Millie
Uh-huh.
comes in and she's being all weird and she's talking
Yeah.
about the walls, right? And she goes, did you know these tunnels and chambers have been here for hundreds and hundreds of years? Rising from the tub, her fingers dripped water as she walked across the chamber. They existed when the gods walked among men. Of course, they've been expanded, added to, and now travel the length of the city. But these walls, she placed her palm against the damp stone. These walls are ancient, and only a few have ever been allowed inside them. I knew about the chambers underground beneath the ascendants' homes, but not any tunnels that traveled the length of the city. I don't give a fuck about these walls. You should. She looked over her shoulder at me. Gods walked these tunnels, as did primals. They walked other tunnels in other cities, connecting doorways and creating magical wards made of primal essence that could keep things out or in. I watched her run her palm over the uneven stone, wondering exactly what in the hell she was talking about. A god born immortal, carrying the blood of the primal of life and the primal of death upon ascension was foretold, the handmaiden whispered. Or so they say. And they say a lot. Either way, she broke those primal wards when she ascended into her godhood.
Oh
And
my goodness.
anything that was, hold on, she rested her cheek against the wall, and anything that was kept in can now get out. Two questions remain: when and where? Not even he knows. Yeah. So,
Okay.
um, I was right. That meant something.
That meant something. You were
That was
right.
important. So,
100%. You were right.
um, but yeah, so
Because they
anyway,
talk late. I mean, we're gonna get back to this later too when we talk
yeah,
about the
but
caverns.
that's how they entombed the ancients
It
was
all
with
makes so
whatever.
much more sense now. Like I almost want to go back and reread Blood and
All the
Ash,
books, I know.
knowing what we know from Flesh and Fire.
Uh-huh. Now I'm like, did we do this wrong or did we do this right? I don't know. Are the pieces coming together?
I
Yes. Are
like
they
the way
coming
we've
together
done
great?
it.
No.
I like the way we've done it. I think reading Flesh and Fire, like after we finished all of the Blood and Ash, would have been annoying.
Yes. Because I don't think we would have like come back to it.
No,
But
I do
yeah,
want to reread Blood and Ash already, though.
I
Now,
know. Me too. I might. We'll find out.
okay,
Um, oh, this is still in the conversation with Keela.
yeah,
Okay. And she's basically saying Satoria is the prophecy.
uh-huh,
Satoria is the big circle of life that it is the prophecy.
yeah.
Um, and then at some point I skimmed the thing. So maybe I found this later and this is just where I thought this was, but it says something about Keela having a journal. Okay.
Totally missed that.
So she's fucking Willie Collins. She is.
Like,
But you know,
I
whatever.
really do want to believe that. I really do, but there's just a part of me that's like, I don't know.
We'll find out later. Anyway, so I know you want to talk about the prophecy. And that's the whole reason we went to go talk to Keela. So I'm gonna
Oh,
let you
yes,
you
that's right.
go
Okay.
off, Queen. Like you go
Okay.
off.
Okay, so we talk about how apparently the prophecy is not in order. Okay, so from the book itself. Now remind me though, are we talking to Keela or Penelope? Is
So,
which one of them is
no, we
telling
went to go talk to Keela because Penelope's like, you got to talk to Keela.
right.
And so
Okay.
they go to Keela. They have
That's
this whole
right.
conversation about
And
the
then
Celeste site or whatever.
uh-huh.
And then they're like, we have one more question for you. We need to know about the prophecy. Supposedly, Colas thought he was the bringer of death and destruction, but he's just
Right.
the death
It's
and
about
destruction.
him. Yeah.
She's like, that'd be funny that he would think it's about him or whatever.
And then I think
And
it's Keela who is like, yeah, it's not in the right order. This is how I
yeah,
know
she's
it.
like, I'm not in the right order. She goes, but I can't tell you because I feel like it would mess with the fates.
She says
So,
talking it out loud like breathes life into it. So
yes.
she
So
writes
she
it
goes
down.
and writes it down and then she comes
Mm-hmm.
back and she gives it to him.
Yeah. All right. So bear with me here. I'm gonna read it in supposedly the correct order.
Okay.
Okay, from Keela. So, from the desperation of golden crowns and born of mortal flesh, a great primal power rises as the heir to the lands and seas, to the skies and all the realms. A shadow in the ember, a light in the flame, to become a fire in the flesh. For the one born of blood and ash, the bearer of two crowns, and the bringer of life to mortal, god, and draken. A silver beast with blood seeping from its jaws of fire. bathed in the flames of the brightest moon to ever be birthed, will become one. When the stars fall from the night, the great mountains crumble into the seas, and old bones raise their swords beside the gods. The false one will be stripped from glory, as the great powers will stumble and fall, some all at once, and they will fall through the fires into a void of nothing. Those left standing will tremble as they kneel, will weaken as they become small, as they become forgotten. For finally the primal rises, the giver of blood and the bringer of bone, the primal of blood and ash. Two born of the same misdeeds, born of the same great and primal power in the mortal realm, a first daughter with blood full of fire, fated for the once promised king, and the second daughter with blood full of ash and ice, the other half of the future king. Together they will remake the realms as they usher in the end, and so it will begin with the last chosen blood spilled, the great conspirator, birthed from the flesh and fire of the primals, will awaken as the harbinger and the bringer of death and destruction to the lands gifted by the gods. Beware, for the end will come from the west to destroy the east and lay waste to all which lies between. The end.
Right.
Okay, so there's so much. There is so much there.
And
Uh,
we beat it with a stick, but like what made me think of that this time, so where is it? Will awaken as the harbinger of death and destruction to the lands gifted by the gods. So the gods are going to give the bone lands to the mortals, obviously. And then that makes Poppy, aka Satoria, the harbinger. That, oh my goodness, the heart, whatever, the
Harbinger.
harbinger and the bringer. So that brings death and destruction, which is Colas, back,
Colas, right?
which would bring him to the lands gifted by the gods, which would be the bone lands, which would be the mortal lands or Atlantia. I'm not sure yet. Um, Beware, for the end will come from the west to destroy the east and lay waste to all which lies between. Poppy and Sidoria, I guess. I don't know. But
Okay, but see, I think Satoria is Poppy.
yeah, she is.
Okay, so then they can't both be the first and second daughter. It's
Yes,
Millie is the
she
first
can.
daughter, Poppy's the second daughter. Penelope straight up says that in the future, the two daughters is talking about the future. So Millie, fated for the once promised king, which would be Malik, but he didn't become the king, but he was supposed to become the king. Poppy, as a second daughter, fated for the true king, so Castile, and they usher in the end together, which we haven't seen a lot from Millie yet, but I think we're going to. That's my thoughts on that. Because Poppy is Satoria.
Yeah.
That I think we can agree on.
Yeah. Okay. We've gone over this so many times, but
I almost have it
anyway,
memorized at this point.
I don't. I get it so confused. I'm pretty sure I just told you two different thoughts I had and like was arguing against myself. But we
It
should
is
really move on.
confusing, though. We can move on. It is confusing, and I'm sure we'll find
It
answers
is
here.
confusing,
We're going to get
but it's
answers.
not at the same time now that we know that Satoria
It's
is,
Poppy.
yeah, Poppy,
Yeah.
100%.
Yes. Yes.
Um, okay, so my next note is chapter 32 and her morning sickness over bacon. Okay. It doesn't say it's morning sickness, but we all know it's morning sickness
We
over
do.
bacon had me rolling because with my first, I could not. I came home from work one day and my husband had worked a night shift. And so he's having bacon at like 3 o'clock in the afternoon. He made a entire like 2 pound brick of fucking bacon. It's July. We didn't have AC. All the windows are open. I opened our front door and I puked all over our entryway because of the smell
Oh.
of bacon. I still cannot do bacon. It still grosses me out.
Oh, that's
So, girl,
funny. That's
same.
sad.
Girl, same. Okay. And then so chapter 33, I'm gonna let you go off about the sword and the crown and the crest and all
Okay.
that stuff.
I didn't take super great notes because quite honestly, I thought you were going to.
This was one I definitely slept through it.
Okay.
So
Basically, they go back, her and Nectus, Sarah and Nectus, they're going back to the mortal realms to her family because they just want to warn them, like, hey, this is our plans, this is what's going to happen, and these are the potential repercussions on the mortal realm. So just be
yeah.
prepared. Anyway, so they go back, and Nectus is like, huh, Your guys' crest is interesting because it's now pretty sure it's the same as the
No,
Atlantean crest, right?
it's a sword through a crown, and it's on the
Right.
cover of the book.
Essentially, it means both life and death. I mean, they go through all like the bits and pieces of what this part and that part means and
Yeah, but
stuff.
the sword means truth.
Yes.
Yeah.
But then like once they finally like break it all down, they're like it means life and death, which Holland had told her that she'd been touched by both life and death. Her nursemaid, Odetta, had told her basically the same thing. And so, yeah, basically it's like, is this a coincidence that our crest, which we thought meant this thing, but it actually means this other thing? You like what I
I
put there?
do.
Incredibles?
My kid was
Coincidence?
just watching
I
that
think
this
not.
afternoon, and both my kids were screaming this. That's why I
Oh,
thought it
that's
was
so
so funny.
funny. My dad used to
Coincidence?
say this.
I
I
think not.
think it's my dad that used to say this all the time after we very first watched that show. Coincidence? I think not.
We're just going all the way off the rails tonight. This is
Super
hilarious.
off
I
the
love
rails.
it.
Anyways,
But I
back on
agree.
track.
Coincidence?
Their
I think
crest.
not.
Yes. So she's born with the embers of life in her. She marries the primal of death. This whole thing, the crest that she grew up with under the family crest that she grew up under was basically means both life and death. So there, I don't know. Coincidence? I think not. I don't know.
That's hilarious. And then, of course, shitbag Callum, which I'm
I
pretty sure she's trying to make us feel bad for Callum this entire time. And it kind of pisses me off because I really want to cut his head off too. But
don't know. I kind of did feel bad for. I fell
yeah,
for
I
it.
know. I did too. And it pissed me off. Anyway, so shitbag's there. And he basically doesn't get much of a word out other than like he has known her mother for a long time,
Yeah. Yeah.
which I have a theory, and I don't know if you're gonna like it.
Okay.
But I kind of thought until we seen her dead at the end, I was
Yeah.
wondering if that was Isbitch.
Oh, weird. Okay.
Yeah, I don't know why, but I did. But
Hmm.
she's dead. But
She's not, but interesting. Definitely did not think that.
well, Isbitch is dead twice if this is Isbitch.
True.
Because at the end, Seraphina's mom dies
Right.
and they bury her. But anyway, and this was kind of when I started wondering if Callum was related to Seraphina.
Well, and I can understand why, because they have him held captive. Because they see him there. Like they walk in thinking they're just gonna get to talk to Ezra and Mom and warn them and whatnot. And they literally walk into them having dinner with Callum.
Mm-hmm.
So then they
And he's
chop
been
him
there
up
for a
and
couple days.
yeah. And then they chop him up and turn him into Rev Burger and take him home and put him in the dungeon.
Yeah.
And so then he's when they're back, like we're jumping just a little bit, same chapter. We're still in the
Yeah.
same chapter 35 here, but she goes back to the Shadowlands and he's out cold and she takes a bucket of water and she starts wiping off like the gold face paint, which I'm assuming that this face paint is like super thick and really hides their features. Um,
Yeah.
Even after what we've learned about like Millie with the face paint. So when she wipes off all of this
And it
face paint
looks like
stuff,
wings. They always talk about how it
right?
looks like wings, and all the
Right.
revenants have like feathers and stuff like that,
Yeah.
which will come into my later thought process, or we've already
Okay.
gotten into it. I don't
A
know,
little
but
bit, yeah. But
mm-hmm,
she wipes off all this face paint and then she's like taken aback and she's like, holy shit, does he not look like me? Like, he looks related to me. And then
mm-hmm.
they don't confirm anything, but they definitely are like, yeah, he's got the freckles, he's got the same face shape, he's got all kinds, like, you look like you could be cousins,
Yep.
basically. Yeah, yeah.
Yep.
And basically, he was there because then she asks him, like, why were you talking to my mom? What was going on? And he's like, she was nice to talk to, and I want to talk to her one last time. Then she realizes why he said that, the way that he said it, the one last time thing.
Mm-hmm.
We knew that Drakenfire can kill revenants, but we learn a little more detail here. So Drakenfire can kill a less mature revenant, but like someone like Callum would have to be basically burnt to ash. It wouldn't just be a little bit of fire that would kill him. He would have to be turned into
Mhm.
basically ash to actually be killed.
Or Shadowstone.
Yeah. Or the more mature ones can also be killed by the fire of the gods, which is the Drake and blood. Um, which so the Shadowstone comes in. It doesn't. The Shadowstone doesn't kill the revenants. The reason they were talking about the Shadowstone thing is because the Drake and blood. So that's they can be killed by the Drake and blood. But the Draken blood is so powerful, it can burn through any substance. And it's not like you've got Draken walking around willing to like open up a vein to kill
Yeah.
these revenants. So they're like, how could we capture some of their blood in order to use it as a weapon? And that's where they're going down the thought process of like, well, it will burn through pretty much any substance it comes in contact with. The only substance it does not burn through, because they're trying to think of like, how can we make like a vial or a cup or a container of some sort to hold it?
Mhm.
And the only substance that it will not burn through is, again, correct me if I'm wrong because I listened to it and I listened to it fast, but basalt,
That's what I
which,
thought.
okay, um, which is basically a type of shadowstone where the dragon fire that created the shadowstone, where it was at like its very, very, very hottest for a
Mhm.
long time. That portion of the shadowstone is called basalt. It cannot be burnt through by draken fire or draken blood, but it's also in limited quantities. And I don't remember where we can find it.
I just have a
But
totally random thought, but
yeah,
like, wouldn't Shadowstone basically be ashes?
yeah, technically, yeah.
Because
Like
like
just
think about it, if
burnt
you have to
together
cremate
ashes.
somebody, it's like at an
Yeah.
insanely high temperature to make their
Mm-hmm.
ashes to like burn the bones and
Turn them
stuff like
into like
that.
a stone of some sort. Yeah.
I don't know. All the symbolism in this book
There's
like
a
trips me up.
lot.
So Shadowstone would be ash. We can keep going. I'm so
Okay.
sorry.
No, 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 you're good.
There hasn't been a lot of sleep the past couple days, except for when I'm supposed to be listening to this book. Um, I think that's what we had for that, isn't it?
Yeah. Yep.
Okay.
I think that that's probably going to come into play at some point. They don't talk anything more about it, but
Okay.
eventually I think we're going to find out more about the basalt.
Okay. And then this is, I think, a jump, but she's like basically having a panic attack at night, right?
Yeah.
And she shifts into a cave cat and
Yep.
she
It's the first
goes
time she
running
finally
through the
shifts.
woods and she feels free. And I was like, oh, how nice. And that's all I
Yep.
had for that. Okay. So, chapter 43, they are going to Mount Lotho and like Emrys or something like that dies. And they're gonna,
She kills
yeah,
Amorous
she
because
kills
he's one of the
Emrys.
ones who like helped with killing all the mortals and her family and all that stuff. So she goes like full psycho and kills him.
Right. And then immediately ascends
Penelope.
Penelope.
Yep. That's how she
Uh,
becomes the goddess of wisdom and something is something is something.
yep. And then we have chapter 48. She finally starts to think that she is fucking pregnant.
Yeah, she finally realizes it.
And
Like,
then
good
like she thinks
grief.
about her dreams or whatever with the two like cubs that she remembers, like the Cape
Yes.
Cat cubs. And she's like,
Yes.
there's two of them. And then so this is when they have like that meeting or whatever to say who's going to side with us and who's not or
Yeah,
whatever.
the meeting with all the primals. Mm-hmm.
And then Keela says she can't because of the deal with the fate. So I'm telling you,
Yep.
she's a fate. Anyway, but or she can't mess with the fates. How she keeps saying she can't mess with the fates or something like that. So
Yeah.
she's gonna go into stasis instead. She's gonna go to sleep
Yep.
for a little while, which I think is important. I think she's gonna go to sleep for a while so that she's awake and prepared for what's gonna happen. Um anyway, so so then after this little meeting or whatever, she sneaks out and goes and finds Ios and tells her that she's pregnant or she thinks she's pregnant. And
Yep.
then so Ios confirms it or whatever. And then she's pregnant with two of them. Um, and then skipping forward, they go after Vessies. They gotta take care of Vessies.
Mm-hmm.
And this was after I believe Ken. So they went and took Ken,
Kin.
and yeah, she ascends Ates, isn't she?
Yeah, I believe so. Ates takes his place.
Yeah.
Then she's gonna take Vessie's place as rules over her court.
Who's gonna take Vessie's place?
Sarah is. Sarah.
Oh, yeah,
takes
that's
over
right.
that one.
Yeah. And then we are excited to announce that Vessies is a dead bitch, and we are very excited about this.
Finally.
Um,
I did kind of
and
feel bad for her, but at the same time, like,
I didn't.
she deserved it.
She deserved it. And then so this is about chapter like 60. They decide they are having their war with Colas basically is going to be at the in the Bone Lands,
Mhm.
which is basically where the War of the Ancients happened.
Yep.
Okay. And they're walking up, and I know you had this
Oh, yeah, just a quick little thing because they kept talking about the Lamea in Blood and
mhm.
Ash and how it was like a
They're just creepy
creature.
bedtime story that wasn't a
Yeah,
real thing.
had tails for arms and all this stuff, and how the parents would tell the kids these, "Gotta go to sleep or these Lamea are gonna come out from under your bed and get you." And even Cass was like, "Oh, yeah, I got told that story too.
They're
They just
just stories.
pretend." But no,
Yeah.
they actually were real. It was one of Ethos's failed attempts at making life was these Lamea thing, and,
Yeah.
Sarah almost steps on one. I
Almost
just
steps on
thought
one.
that was kind of funny.
And then Nectis does walk in like the slime or something like that. And she goes,
Yeah.
that's what you get for not wearing boots or something like that.
Yep.
Um, which I thought was funny. But anyway, so this is where this took these cliffs are where the Battle of the Ancients happened. So that's
Yeah.
very important. Because they're not doing so well in their fight, right? Because
Mm-mm.
Thanos and is still working with Colas. And
Yeah.
then he has his revenants and all that, and he's got a bunch of revenants. And so this is when she goes over towards the temple, something like that. She goes to the ground, and that's when she says, I am done with this, all of this. And
Mhm.
that's when she slams her hand into the ground and she wakes up the skeletons.
Yeah.
Okay. And she's like, you're going to basically fight for me and then you're going to go back to your rest. But so remember also in Kingdom of Flesh and Fire,
Yep.
when she has this vision of this silver lady or whatever, and that's exactly what happens is the lady slams the ground and says, I'm done with this, all of this or whatever. And that's when like the
Yep.
blood tears happen. So my wonderings is if so remember there's like a cliff there in and there's a temple, and that's where
Uh-huh.
like Beckett takes Poppy out
Poppy.
to.
Mhm.
And that's so I'm pretty sure that's where this happened. I could be wrong, but I think that's where this
I
happened.
think you're right. Yeah.
Yeah, and this would be in Scion's Cove.
Yes.
Yes, which would be in the Bone Lands, which I think is
Yep.
Atlantia.
Yep. Yep.
Anyway, so but I think that's the temple that this is happening in.
Mhm.
Um, but anyway, so that's when she says that. And then the ending is just kind of wild where we put it all together. Um,
Yeah. 63. Again, I got a detail or two mixed up here, but we learned that Satoria was either birthed from one of the first mortals or she was one of the first mortals. That part I could not.
I think she was birthed from the first mortals.
Okay. Um, but she was a second daughter.
So
And
Callum's her brother, older
right.
brother.
Yep. And so the second daughter, the ether is stronger in the second born, which we know all the way up into Blood and Ash. And that is why, and so she was also born in a shroud. She was chosen. She was like the very first chosen, I would say. Um, and her and Sarah they're like from the same bloodline, which has been
From
a
the same
toss up this
bloodline.
whole book, this whole time
Mhm.
is like they started to put the pieces together of like, is she actually from my bloodline? Is she one of my ancestors? Or is she just a soul that they put into my bloodline kind of thing? And so
Mhm.
no, she actually is from the exact same bloodline as Sarah, which confirmed here does make Sarah and Callum, also Poppy and Callum, distant relatives.
Mhm.
Creepy.
Mhm. Well, it
Yeah.
doesn't make them distant relatives because
Well,
Poppy
like
is Satoria.
Poppy is Satoria, so I guess they're
But
brother and sister. Like, oh, okay.
yep, yep. And then so this is kind of like after the final battle, right?
Right.
So you have like the after final battle or whatever. And I think this is later when she's much more pregnant. Or
Yeah.
no, not yet. She hasn't told anybody yet.
Right.
So this isn't that much later. And um I do want to mention that Ates says he's going to go to sleep after this celebration.
Mhm.
Okay. He is the god of court and war, and he's talking about how he had a thing for Satoria. Like, yes, he
Yeah.
loves Lila, but he like I'm pretty sure him and Satoria were heartmates. And I
Yeah.
think this all comes in, and we'll get to that later. But anyway, um, and that's when they've or maybe this kind of stuff comes before that party. Your next no, I'm so sorry.
Um, well, yes and no. I think we're kind of both in the same place
Kind of in
here.
the same spot. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, because we learned that Poppy is basically Satoria's soul is going to be reborn.
Yes, because like in the last, yeah, they're gonna have her live out a life
Hmm.
while Colas is entombed. That's the whole reason they did it, so that they
That's
can
the goal.
free
Yeah. So she can
Satoria.
like live and die and be at peace kind of thing.
Yep.
Um, but still, her soul is like basically fated still, though, one way or another, to
hmm
be Colas's downfall.
hmm
And she is going to be basically like exactly the same, like born in a shroud, chosen, all this stuff, same as Poppy. So Satoria is Poppy. Um, they go on to talk about kind of how the the bloodline. Okay, so Satoria's soul and the embers of life get passed down through the female bloodline. So they talk about how their sons, Malik and Iris, are going to have to somehow like
Not have
not
babies.
procreate because with
hmm
the off chance that they're going to have a daughter. And they talk about that in the Blood and Ash series too. How they weren't supposed to, but they both did. All this stuff. And yeah, so Poppy comes from this bloodline. And they also talk about how they're like, okay, so we're gonna keep it hidden. So Seraphina's name has power. She is the true primal of life.
hmm
And so they're like, only the one who carries Satoria's soul is going to know Seraphina's name and be able to call out Seraphina's name
hmm
and basically fully ascend into that power.
hmm
Which is why, so they're like, we need to keep that hidden. One, we need to keep our sons from procreating. Good luck with
hmm
that. Two, we need to keep the true primal of life a secret
From the mortals.
from the mortals.
Yep.
So that makes sense why in all the Blood and Ash, like they are made to believe the mortals are and the Atlanteans are basically made to believe that Nyktos is the primal of life, and then there's
And
just
death.
and death, right? And then there's just the consort, the
But
consort.
only the Atlanteans know of the consort.
Yes, yes. And so then that is also then when you read the War of Two Queens at the end, why Poppy is the only one who inherently just knows Seraphina's name. And
hmm
that is because she is Satoria, she has Satoria's soul. Like that is the only person who would know that name, be able to call out for it, and that is exactly what happens.
hmm
So that's
Yep.
all I have there. Yeah.
Yep. So I think this is kind of when they have their little party or whatever. And like she's talking with Ates or whatever about how
Hmm.
he does love Lily, but Satoria's special, man, to him, right?
Yeah.
So I'm thinking heartmates, which so many theories here, but I'm excited for him. But so he has decided to go to sleep. So hear me out though. He's decided to go to sleep, and Keela has decided to go to sleep
Hmm.
before whatever happens. In my theory, this is kind of all my theory, before the rest of these gods go to sleep.
Hmm.
So are they able to wake up sooner, like around the time Castiel and Poppy come into the picture?
Hmm. Hmm.
And that's why all the other gods are still sleeping. I don't know, but I think it could happen. Um, and then yeah, so Poppy is obviously Satoria. Is what we've
Hmm.
figured out, right?
Yep. Yep.
And so
Serafina asks Victor, she's talking with Victor or whatever, and she goes, I want you to protect Satoria's next
Yeah.
life,
Whenever
or
she comes to life again,
wherever she comes, whenever
you're in
she's
charge of her.
reborn. I want you to protect her, basically, or make sure she knows how to fight.
Yeah.
And so that's kind of like his biggest thing, what he is supposed to do. But I don't know. I don't know. There's something with him and Castile too, because if Castile is somehow Ates or something like that,
Right.
I don't know. Because then, like, because you know how Poppy has said about Castile so many times that, like, it's like we've met before or something like that.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, she recognizes his soul. I don't know. I don't know how that's
Yes.
possible, but
No, I agree. He is definitely at least descended somehow from Hattes.
mhm.
But again, I don't know how.
Don't know how, but I think it would be the perfect happily ever after if like something happened and they decided to send Aches back to be with her in
Yeah.
Castile. But
Yeah.
and then we have like the very last chapter is fantastic. It's
Oh,
called The
yes.
Star, and it's kind of like if you fast forward things, and it's basically one of the fates giving Ileana, or wait, yeah,
No, it's not
Ileana
one of the
is bitch.
fates.
Is it
It's
Callum?
Callum. It's Callum
It's
because remember
Callum?
Callum disappears and the
Oh
star
yeah, that's
disappears
right.
and they're like, "Oh, I bet Callum has it." But then we never hunt him down. Nobody ever knows what happens or where anybody goes. Then we get this chapter. It's Callum year after year after year after year carrying this
Just
star
traveling and carrying
jewel.
it, going back to the cliffs, whatever.
Yes, going
And then
back
he
to the
meets
Cliffs of
with
Sorrow. Mhm.
is
Go ahead.
bitch, which
Yep.
dude, it's still like it was the way he was talking with Seraphina's mom. Like he
Yeah.
was friendly with her. That just still makes me curious. But and the way he's like Callum is with is bitch in the end. I don't know. It's wild though. But
Well, yeah,
um
Seraphina's mom, Poppy's mom. He's got a thing here. I don't
mhm,
know. Yeah.
yeah.
But he is the one who gives the star
Is
jewel.
he? Okay, I must have missed that part. But
He is the one who gives the star jewel to Isbeth.
see, I thought it was the fates, but because it kept saying like we,
No, it was
we.
Callum. It was 100% Callum.
Okay. But yeah. So it was given to Isbitch, and Isbitch put it in Poppy, put Satoria in Poppy, either when she was born or I don't know how that would happen, how Poppy wouldn't have her own soul as well,
Or maybe she does.
but it's saying she was rebirthed. So how did Isbitch get the soul out? I don't
I
know.
don't know. Okay, so this is why when I texted you and you're like, I don't have any questions, I'm like, I have so many freaking questions. Because not questions like a lot of things have been answered. But how I was really like, remember we were talking last episode, like, is there a time jump? There was no time jump, and I want to know the rest of the history. I want to see
Well, we've
Malik and
seen the
Iris
time.
being born. I want to see them becoming friends with Reaver and Nectis and Jadis. And why does Iris leave with Jadis? And what is
I
all the
I
missing
liked
pieces?
I don't care though. I think we're not supposed to have all the pieces yet.
It's frustrating me.
I'm sure we'll find out at some point.
We better.
But I liked how we speed this up with the star chapter, how we speed it up and
Yeah.
we kind of like fast forward through things and now we're to the start of Blood and Ash, right?
Hmm.
Basically. But now we're not. We are now into the primal of Blood and Bone, which I can't wait. But I think we should decide what else we have thoughts and theories moving forward, and then we should keep going.
Oh, I don't know. I think there's going to be some sort of like Poppy and Callum at some point. Callum's going to have to be like, hmm. Because remember how Cola said that that Satoria's hair originally was red?
And remember her name, or they were saying, what does Satoria mean? Satoria means the garden or pretty flowers, or simply put, Poppy, and that's what Ates is telling Seraphina.
My pretty Poppy. Yes. Yes.
Mhm.
So I think if Callum hasn't seen it already, he's gonna have the realization that like,
Oh, I
holy
think he
shit,
already
that's my
knows.
sister. Do you think he already knows?
I
Okay.
think he knows, and I think that's why he ran. I think that's why all the Revenants ran, but I think that's why he ran at the end of the War of Two Queens, because he knew, he goes, oh fuck, Sarah's
Yeah.
back. I'm fucked.
But it's also his sister.
Seraphina's not his sister.
No, Seraphina's not, but Poppy's
Satoria
Satoria.
is.
Satoria is his sister. Poppy is Satoria. So Callum should recognize Satoria. Remember, he's throwing a fit about Seraphina not being Satoria because Seraphina doesn't actually look like her. Where Poppy, it sounds like, actually looks like Satoria with the red hair
Yeah.
and the freckles and everything like that. So I'm wondering, my question is Callum going to have a moment of like, where's my loyalty
Well, okay,
lie?
if Callum's the one with the star with Satoria's soul, then he knew what happened with Poppy, and he knows
He
that
knew.
Poppy's Satoria.
Exactly. Okay, so but then once Colas comes back, because Callum is like Colas's little lapdog,
Mhm.
is he going to have a moment of like, who do I serve? Do I protect my sister or do I serve Colas because I served Colas for so long? You know, do I protect my sister from Colas? Does he see the evil in Colas, or is he just brainwashed at this point after years and years of all of this? I'm wondering what's going to happen with Callum. There better be some serious story about what happens with Callum in the
Yeah.
next book, I think.
Yeah. So overall, what'd you give this book?
I gave this one a 4.5 out of
Okay.
5. There was so much conflict, and sometimes too much conflict is too much for me. Like,
Oh, okay.
I liked it. I did like it, but I was like, just need a minute to breathe sometimes.
Okay.
But that would be the only reason it wasn't 5 stars.
Okay. I went 4.75. And the only reason it wasn't 5 stars is because there was too much no pants dance.
Okay.
There was so much. It felt like
There
it was like
was.
every other chapter. And I was just like, we get the point. You're horn
Move
dogs. Can we
on.
move on with the fucking story?
Yeah.
I was like, this is obnoxious at this
Yeah.
point. So
Yeah.
that is the only reason it wasn't 5 stars for me.
Okay.
I love the conflict. I love everything. Bang, bang, bang. I mean, we're at the end of that series. You know what I mean? Like, that was a great
Right.
way to close that series
It
out. I
was.
think it was perfect. So on that note, this book was definitely another fire emoji. Would you agree?
Oh, yes. 100%.
Okay, cool. And then series cry counter. Where are you at? Because we still have one more
Still
book.
at 1. Oh,
Still at 1.
sorry. Still
I'm
at 1.
still at 2.5, 2.25. I'm
2 and a
sorry.
quarter.
2.25. And it's funny because 2 of those are from like happy tears.
Yeah.
I think all of them are happy tears. I don't even think I was sad about anything. I think they're all happy tears.
Mine were sad. So.
Oh, okay. See, mine were just happy and Delano based, which is hilarious. But all right, let's do this.
We hope you all have enjoyed this series as much as we have.
This closes out the Flesh and Fire series for us. If more come out, we'll pick it back up right here where we left off.
We are first-time readers to the series, so we hope that you are following along with us. Or if you've already read the series, we hope that our discussions can be a refresher for you before you start the Primal of Blood and Bone that is now out.
Make sure to join us on Facebook and Instagram for more conversations, as well as our club on the Fable app where you can discuss with us spoiler-free chapter by chapter. We are setting up for our next series and we'll be sure to share with you all soon on all of our platforms.
Any guess? It should be a fun one. I'm super excited about it.
Me too.
Our next episode will be getting into the much anticipated Blood and Ash series, Book 6, The Primal of Blood and Bone by Jennifer Armentrout.
This is a thick one. So we will be reading this one in 4 sections to really take it in.
Mm-hmm.
The first section will be chapters 1 through 13. We have made a reading schedule and posted it on all of the platforms and pages.
If you are enjoying reading along with us or just enjoying our conversations and theories, be sure to like this video and hit that subscribe button on your way out.
And buddy reading any book with Book Besties is so much fun.
So make sure to share with our podcast with your book besties. And if you don't have any book besties,
then consider yourself one of ours. And until next time, fill those drinks with ice.
And your books with spice. Bye.
Bye.